So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Roma Theory. It's the end of the season. I feel like a stone just dropped from my body. There is no need to stress for the next few months. We can give our body, our heart, our arteries, our veins, our lungs a good old rest. The players deserve a well-deserved break. Mourinho deserves a break as well. And now the players and the manager have done their part of the season. Now we are entering in that season where the other half of Roma needs to play their game. The Fredkins and Thiago Pinto. The ball is no longer in the hands of Mourinho and Pellegrini and Tammy, who unfortunately got severely injured, and that's something which we'll mention tonight. Now the ball is in the Fredkins and Thiago Pinto's hands. And I think this stream is an important stream, because this is the start of a new beginning. And Mourinho has told everybody that he is staying here next season. Now, I already am seeing some questions in the chat saying, Simon, is this confirmed or is this speculation? Well, didn't Mourinho tell us that he's staying next season by going like this? First of all, by telling to his players after the final, I am going to stay with you. And second of all, after yesterday's game, he did the lap around the pitch to say goodbye, and he went like this. Now, after doing such a powerful gesture, because it is a powerful gesture, for the entire season, the fans have been wanting to know news about Mourinho's future because they have attached themselves to this man. This man has changed the perspective of us fans, and we are now attached to him. That's how football works. If you were at the stadium yesterday, you know very well that yesterday's choreographies, yesterday's banners, yesterday's tifo was dedicated to the man which has changed the perspective and the ambition of this team. And that's something which, if you were at the stadium, you clearly know. And obviously, he ended the season with a big gesture. And that's a big gesture which tells everybody that he's staying next season. Is this confirmed? Has he written on a piece of paper that he's staying next season? No, we don't have physical paper saying that Jose's staying. But after such a powerful gesture, do we really think Jose's leaving? No. It's not a typical Jose thing to do, to spoil anything before he gets announced. Why did he do this? He did this, first of all, because now after a final, you need to be more attached to the team and to the entire environment. And second of all, he did this gesture 100% because he has had an initial talk with the ownership. And in this initial talk, there has been something which convinced him about the evolution of this project, which is made him decide to stay. The biggest reason of why Mourinho is 99% staying next season is very simple, according to me. Had we won the Europa League final, I think Mourinho would have left. Because I think Mourinho would have understood the concept of a heroic exit, and he would have fulfilled that. So, had we won Europa League, Mourinho would have presented himself in the last game at the Olimpico against Lo Spezia. I got you Conference League. I got you Europa League. 2 European trophies in 2 seasons. I'm off. And that's what Jose, in my opinion, would have done had we won Europa League. We've lost the Europa League final. And what does that change? And why does that make Mourinho stay and decide to stay one more season? Well, it's very, very simple. There is an unconditional love between the fans, the players, and Mourinho. And after a final, which specifically you lose in penalties, the team is hurt. The team is, as I always said in this past week, scarred. The team is injured. The team is demoralized. And for a manager like Mourinho, who every single game this season, every single day this season, has been shown so much love throughout the season, Mourinho couldn't leave an injured, a demoralized Roma in the hands of the future. Because that's not how you treat a person you love. I'll give you an example. You go out with a picnic with your family and your friends. And you walk, you have a hike on a mountain, and somebody trips. Somebody trips and breaks his leg. But you're like, hang on a second, he's like my best friend, but I've got the picnic to reach because my family is organizing that picnic. Do I go to the picnic and forget about my friend, or do I call an ambulance, worry about my friend, and then after I safely know what happens to my friend, I go to the picnic? You don't just abandon somebody which is injured and hurt and kind of demoralized. And that's the way I see it. I think we've lost that final. It has made the players and the manager way more attached to the environment. And the scenes after that final clearly show that. The fans inviting the players over, congratulating them. It's been an incredible season despite the fact that we're not playing Champions League football. But yeah, look, I think that gesture means a lot. I think that gesture is a confirmation. There has been definitely a base meeting after the final. I think the day after the final, in fact, the Fredkins organised a basic meeting. A basic meeting because there still needs to be a more specific meeting. Why? Because obviously yesterday's game had to decide a few more things. Now that we're in the Europa League, for example, first of all, it's way more ambitious than playing in the Conference League. And second of all, your budget also does increase a bit because you're not playing Conference League, you're playing Europa League. So I think there has been a basic meeting as soon as the final ended, which both parties told to each other, I want to continue with Mourinho, and Mourinho said, I want to continue with Roma. And then in the more specialized meeting, which I think will happen, I think it most probably happen today, because then they're off on holiday. I think Mourinho wants to listen to more of the futuristic project and the evolution of this project, and kind of has definitely, without a doubt, set his conditions. Because obviously, Mourinho stays, but some conditions have to improve. And this is something which I want to get into. Speaking about Mourinho's future is great, but obviously Mourinho needs some conditions to be sorted out. And the conditions are very simple in my opinion. You were on TV, I know I was on TV. Everybody spammed me from group friends, the like group chats, everybody on the comments in yesterday's live, in yesterday's vlog told me I was on TV. I went back to look at it and I was, in fact, on TV. So it was great. Thanks for letting me know. And yeah, the conditions are very simple. The first condition is defense. Now, when I say defense is a massive word. It's a massive term. Mourinho needs alliances because what we have gathered from this season is very simple. There is a war going on between Mourinho's Roma and the referees. And we could clearly see this even after the brutal corruption of the Europa League final. It happened yesterday too. Because the penalty on Dybala was even clearer than the penalty which they awarded us with El Shaarawy. And this has to stop. So, look, it's very easy. Referees hate Mourinho because he's always complaining. He's always whinging. He's always there. And look, we have to be honest here. This is something which has to stop. Because the more this can... And I know this is who Jose is. Jose is... It's his character. It's like telling... It's like telling Ronaldo stop doing the Sue. That's what Ronaldo's known for. He can't just stop that. That's kind of a brand deal. It's a brand, the Sue thing. You can't tell Mourinho to stop complaining because that will never happen. That's who Mourinho is. That's how Mourinho's born, and that's how Mourinho developed his life. That's his character. Everybody's got characteristics, different characteristics. That's his characteristic. He complains a lot, but it does have to improve. Because the more he complains, the more these referees go against us. And there has been a clear pattern this season. We have lost at least 15 points in the league because of referees. And we have had a dream get crushed by a bold... And this has to stop. Because we can't compete if every season the referees neglect us 15 points. We can't. It's impossible to compete if the referees are against us. And there is a war between Mourinho and the referees. Therefore, the first condition which Mourinho asked the ownership is defense. I need an alliance which speaks out instead of myself every time we get done by a referee. There are a few names which are the Fredkins are taking consideration. Now, there are two names which are leading the race right now. The first name is Boniek, and the second name is the king of the city. Yes, Francesco Totti. The ownership is starting to gather some names because next season, Mourinho said it, I cannot fight this war by myself. I need someone who speaks up, I need someone who backs me, and I need someone to go against those referees. Because if I do the job, the referees will continue hating on us. And the more these referees continue hating on us, the more points we get neglected. And the more points we get neglected, the harder it will be to compete for the best of things. So the first thing is an ally. He needs an ally to defend him and speak out. And obviously there are a few names, as I said before. Totti, obviously there's a big question linked to Totti. Totti back in the ownership. He has had a few delicate years under Spalletti, which kind of abandoned him from the team because of how Spalletti treated him. But I would love Totti. Just imagine Totti and Mourinho working together. Like it's just that fairy tale which everybody wants to see. I really hope it is Totti. Regarding of whether he will be Mourinho's ally or not, I do think Totti has to be reintegrated in the ownership because he's the legend of this team, he's the king of this city, and he has got all the respect to be part of this club. But again, he needs someone to defend him, and that's the first thing which Mourinho wants. Because this season, many times he's been fighting by himself, and he needs someone to support him, and that's the first thing which, without a doubt, he's told the ownership, and that without a doubt the ownership is currently working on. Again, something about this, I wouldn't exclude the fact that this potential person could take Thiago Pinto's job. Again, this is hard to see, because I think as much as the tensions between Thiago Pinto and the relations between the two aren't the best, I don't think it's very easy to see Thiago Pinto get sacked this summer. However, I won't exclude the fact that if this person comes, whoever this person will be, this person could collaborate a lot with Thiago Pinto. And obviously we know how Mourinho wants to be and have a greater role and bigger power in transfer windows as well. He's really good at convincing players because of the status he has. So I think that the first condition which is kind of scripted to the Fredkins is have an ally to defend him and have more power at the same time, which is kind of like they don't balance out. If you want more power, then you don't normally tend to find an ally and you tend to do things by yourself. But I think Mourinho wants more power, but at the same time Mourinho wants defenses. It's like your chessboard. You got to protect that jack from other attacks, and that's the first thing. The second thing is without a doubt linked to the transfer market, because many times this season Mourinho has said this team cannot compete for Champions League, and the fact that we are playing in the Europa League is the truth of everything. This team was never in a position to compete for Champions League, and therefore Mourinho expects a greater transfer market. He knows as much as everybody here has to know. I hope you all are aware of this after repeating it 33 million times this season. Mourinho knows that this team is sanctioned by FFP, and it does not make things easy. But if you're smart, if you use your intelligence, and if you use your transfer market tactics, the transfer market can be very successful even without spending billions of money. And that's the conclusion of everything. I know this team has got difficulties in the transfer window because we are being targeted. But I also expect a bigger effort from the ownership, maybe spend a little bit more money, because it's these little minor details which next season can make us maybe have another majestic run in the Europa League and win it, maybe even better, but obviously even harder, compete for the league. These are all things which it's very early to think about right now. But it's also important to think about these things right now. It's early because the transfer market still needs to start and all of that. But it's also good to start thinking about these things. I know without him. Oh, by the way, thank you very much for the super sticker. Quebec, pair character riding a firework rocket disappearing away before bursting in the sky. There you go. What a poet. Thank you very much for the support, mate. Appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Great conclusion to the season. We need better scouts, I agree. And obviously, I think Mourinho knows, especially after what happened yesterday, that the biggest priority this summer is the striker. It's the striker because Tammy got a severe injury. Severe injury. Like, Tammy didn't just break his ACL. Tammy broke all the ligaments around the ACL. And that's, again, a minor detail which has to take in consideration because Tammy's rehabilitation, Tammy's re-entry is nowhere close. Tammy's re-entry and kind of restart will be in March 2024. That's literally in like 1 year. So this poses a lot of difficulties in our transfer window because Tammy was most probably the one which was going to be sacrificed. Nobody, realistically speaking, is going to buy Tammy Abraham now. And we also need to buy a new striker. So we're in a bit of a mess right now because our main striker got injured, severe injury, and he was going to be the big part of the fueling up of the transfer money. And he got injured. Nobody will buy him this summer. Therefore, Tammy stays and works on his rehabilitation. But at the same time, we need that striker. We need the striker which back the goals. And Mourinho has revealed his dream. I do have a few contacts which work around the Roma environment, which once in a while I do contact about transfer news. Anytime I have news, I will update you. These contacts are saying that Mourinho has kind of wished and hoped for his dream striker. The dream striker I can announce is Romelu Lukaku. I would love it. I think Lukaku under Mourinho could turn into an absolute animal. But obviously it's going to be hard financially and also because he's currently playing a Champions League final and next season Inter will most probably will play the Champions League. So I think it's hard. It's a dream. I think Mourinho can convince him. But obviously now this poses a great threat because we don't have the money we were planning to have if we sold Tammy. Therefore, what I think will happen with Tammy right now is that obviously he will work on his rehabilitation. He'll be back in March 2024. And obviously, when we say he will be back in March 2024, realistically speaking, he will never be back in March 2024 because you always have to add 1 month from when the date gets announced because of rehabilitation problems. And then you also need to take into account the fact that Tammy will never be the same. You look at Gini, never been the same. You look at Zaniolo, never been the same. It's an ACL tear with all the ligaments around broken. Tammy will never be the same. Even next season or in 2 seasons, we will never get the money we were planning to ask for Tammy. But Tammy stays. I love him. And this is a tough time for Tammy. It's been a very tough season, which ended in the worst way possible. A lost final the 31st, broken ACL the 5th of June. It's a terrible season for Tammy, but we are here with him. And maybe it's a sign. Maybe somebody up there didn't want Tammy to leave. Broke his ACL, and when he's back scoring galores. Who knows? Maybe everything is linked. We don't know. But Tammy, I think what happens with Tammy, due to the fact that he will never be the same, is that when he's back, I think he will be shifted to second striker. And therefore, we need to buy a better striker. And obviously, we need to buy second striker too, because unless we decide to stay with Belotti, which I think would be a big mistake, I don't know. I think we've got 1 month to focus on the transfer window and are planning things. And yeah, I think that these are the conditions which Mourinho has scripted to the Fredkins. An ally, and obviously a greater effort in the transfer window. But yeah, I think he wants to stay. He's loved in this team. And let's enjoy life. Let's continue this project. We're not playing in the Champions League, but we're playing in the Europa League next season. I can fully say right now, the 5th of June, 1 week after losing the final, the next season we are big challengers for that cup. We're big contenders for that, even with a lot of tough teams in it and a lot of tough teams which will drop from the Champions League. We need luck, because you always need luck in football. But again, we've ended the season. There is no point in focusing on the start of a new one. Look, we've ended the season. Over the course of this week, so until Monday, next Monday, there's going to be live streams about looking back at this season, preparing for the future, and just restarting from the beginning. And then after this week, there will be, over the course of June, there will be fun videos, entertaining videos, ranking videos, keep, sell, loan videos, reacting to my Serie A predictions videos. So June is going to be an entertaining month. And then when the transfer market opens the 1st of July, we will focus on that. Then preseason starts. But yeah, look, let's enjoy this summer. I think we deserve it from all the emotions which we've lived. Jose's staying 99%. The official announcement will happen in the next couple of days. But look, Rome was not built in one day. It took time to build Rome, and it will take time to build Roma. We're coming from a lost final. We restart fresh, and we have planted the seeds of a new beginning, with Jose staying and Dybala most probably staying as well. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Please do it. It's the end of the season. Everybody smash that like button to show the appreciation. If you enjoy this season's stadium vlogs, these match reactions, click that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will catch you tomorrow with more news. And again, as I said, looking back at the season and thinking about future plans. And then yeah, enjoy this entertaining period, because I've got some very fun videos prepared. Yeah. By the way, relegation scrap playoff this Sunday. Spezia against Verona is a massive game. Massive game. Massive game. Yeah. Look, I'll catch you soon. Simon, out.